Happy and Justice for August, everybody. Welcome to the GuitarGuts podcast. I'm Mark Murray. My guest this week is going to be Peyton Fulbright, a.k.a. 60secondmetal on Instagram. He does 60-second metal covers. We'll get into all of his history on how he started playing guitar, his favorite bands, his gear that he's using, how he makes his videos, his philosophy. He takes it seriously, kind of like a business. So he, if you've seen his videos, you've seen him. He's super professional on there, and we talk about that, and we talk about eventually what is this whole thing going to become. Check him out on Instagram at 60secondcovers. He actually sent me some pics and stickers, so I appreciate that. Thanks, dude. He'll also be on one of my videos for And Justice for August. If you don't know what that is, it is the 30th anniversary of And Justice for All, Metallica's 1988 release. My favorite Metallica album, and for the 30th anniversary, I decided to cover pretty much the entire album with collabs on Instagram and YouTube. So I've been getting drummers and bassists to do this each song with me, vocalists, and then about every minute I've been getting a new guitar player to come in on my videos. So I'm going to be putting out 50, 60 videos this month with probably 30 different musicians, and editing them all together myself, and it's an insane project to take on and to come up with. But I did it in March for Master of Puppets. I did Master of Puppets month. I did Ride the Lightning month was in December of 2017, and I think it was July 2017. I did Kill 'Em All Week, the first Metallica theme month I done. So I've also done Van Halen 1 week. These are all my themes I've done so far. There'll be more in the future. People are already asking, can September be Garage Inc. month or whatever? I think Reload might be 20 years old this year. A bunch of albums are having their anniversaries. I'm like, no, you know how much work this is? I'm editing 50 or 60 videos. I'm constantly writing people back and forth, downloading videos, adding them into my collabs. I've been recording the full songs, all the guitar parts, so I can make full covers for YouTube. And I've done 5 so far. Today is August 2nd when I'm recording this. I've done 5 songs. Man, And Justice for All is just layer upon layer of guitar parts. It's crazy. And Justice for All, the song, the bridge, I think has 5 guitar parts. One has a bunch of different sections that have guitars layered on top of each other, 3-part harmonies a lot of times. It's insane. Pretty much every song has some type of harmonized section. So with the rhythm behind it, I'm learning 3 guitar parts minimum, and I'm loving it, actually. It's crazy. It's a ton of work, but to go back and be able to really dissect a whole album, my favorite album of all time, I'll go out and say that, of all time, not just Metallica, is And Justice for All, man. All the way down to the tones, I love this album. So what do? You got to make covers of the songs on Instagram or on Facebook. Use the hashtag And Justice for August. August 25th is the actual day, so something huge is going to happen that day. I don't know what yet, but it's going to happen, something cool. And make your own covers, make your own collabs with your friends, post them up there, tag me at GuitarGuts on Instagram, tag the guys from Metallica and the band. That's big. If we can get them to notice it, that would be amazing. So use the hashtag And Justice for August, put your video up, hit me up if you want to play bass, drums, do some vocals. My guitar parts are pretty much all full now, but if you keep posting them, I'm going to be reposting people's stuff on my story all month on Instagram, and on my feed, I'm going to have some people's videos. If they're really over the top, I'm going to put them on my feed. If they're, I just, like the video and appreciate everybody playing along, and I can't put them all on my story. I mean, I think there's been, was it 60 posts, I think, and today's only the 2nd. Let's see actually what it's at. So, I mean, Master of Puppets month in March, that did almost 700 posts. And I was originally going to download them all and edit them into collabs like I did I think I did it for Ride the Lightning month. But, dude, it's just too crazy. There was like 600 and something for Master of Puppets month in March, and I won't be able to do it. So, sorry, guys, for saying I'd be able to do that back then, but a little too much for me. So 116 posts and so far in And Justice for August, and today's only the 2nd. I'm hoping we hit 1,000. That'd be huge for me. So everybody make your videos, put them out there. Even if you've never even done a guitar video before, but you've wanted to, you follow my page, now's the time to start. You know when the perfect time to start is? Not when you get your new microphone, not when you get your new guitar next week. It's now. And then you'll be able to look back and see how much improvement. But people always want to buy all this gear and stuff and wait to start things like this. One of my friends, Kyle, he's going to be doing To Live Is To Die With Me. He started and stopped Instagram a few times and goes, I'm going to start doing more videos when I get this. He gets that piece of gear. Then he goes, yeah, but I kind of need a mic. Once he gets the mic, I kind of need a better amp. Then he gets the amp. I kind of need to get a better camera. It's like one thing after another. Like, dude, you've been talking about this for 2 years. You could have thousands of followers already if you were making all these videos you want to make. So if you've never done a video before even, start now, man. Play the intro to One. It's pretty easy. And off the whole album, I mean, there's not that much easy stuff. It's a pretty hard album, but you could do that. Why not? So before we get into the actual podcast with Peyton, let me tell you guys about a couple of my sponsors. I got a few of them this week. Next week, I'm going to have a giveaway. So I'm going to wait off on the pedal boards till next week. But real quick shout out to SoCal_pedal boards on Instagram. Sent me 3 mini pedal boards. They're about this big. They're somewhere around here. Where are they? Oh, literally right here. So here's one of them. I'm going to be telling you the way you could win this. I got 3 of them. They probably fit about 4 pedals, I would say. Got a little handle on top. Got his logo here on the back, which is really cool. Another logo strip here. Holes in the sides so that your cables can route in and out. And I'm going to be giving away 3 of them. One of them I'm going to be giving away on this podcast. One of them is going to be on my Instagram page, maybe related to And Justice for August. I don't really know. So tune back in next episode of the podcast. It might be in 2 weeks, might be next week. I don't really know. I'm playing by my own rules here, and I'm off my schedule because of And Justice for August. So just tune into the next episode. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on iTunes. One's for audio, one's for video, obviously. And it's going to be delivered to you next week. You could turn the notification on, and you'll find out right when the episode drops. So, SoCal_pedal boards on Instagram. Thanks, guys, for joining the team. Also, you guys already know Iron Age guitar accessories. If you go to my website, GuitarGuts.com, right at the top, you're going to see a banner for Iron Age accessories, and it says GG-10. Click that whole banner. It's going to bring you right to the kill switches. They're about $30 or so. Some of them have LEDs built into them. You can get them in different colors to match your guitar's hardware: gold, black, chrome, and then different color LEDs inside. And if you enter GG-10 at checkout, you're going to get 10% off a kill switch. I've got them on a bunch of my guitars. If you check out a bunch of my builds, you'll see them. My Frankenstrats, on my red, white, and blue one I recently did, that's on there. My Blue Jackson's got one. My red, white, and blue Wolfgang Frankenstrat, that's got one. So go check out my page. You're going to see a bunch of them. Go to GuitarGuts.com, and right at the top, click that banner for Iron Age guitar accessories and enter GG-10 at checkout. Get 10% off a kill switch. They also have picks and custom knobs and all kinds of other cool stuff. And then last but not least is Lundgren guitar pickups. So go check them out on Instagram at Lundgren Guitar Pickups. And they're a pickup company out of Sweden. I use their pickups in a couple of my guitars. They just sent me one of them back for a Wolfgang because it had to be, the base plate had to be cut down a little bit. Next time I'm just going to route my Wolfgang a little bigger before I paint them. But didn't know, and the pickup didn't fit in. So I just got it back. They sent me a custom one with a different base plate on it, and I'll be dropping that in my next Wolfgang project. I also have it on my Frankenstrat, so I'll play a little bit of the audio so you guys can hear what those pickups sound like. They sound like old 70s, 80s Van Halen pickups. The one I use is called the Heaven 77. It sounds great. I used it during Van Halen 1 week, which was the last week of February, but after And Justice for August, I'll be getting back to some Van Halen covers. So check out Lundgren, at Lundgren Guitar Pickups on Instagram, and lundgren.se/en. That's for English. That's their website. If you go on their Instagram, you'll see a link right there. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to add a banner to the top of GuitarGuts.com for Lundgren as well. So if you just go to GuitarGuts.com, right at the top, got a couple banners, click them. And one more small one real quick. If you want to help support me, go to GuitarGuts.com. There's an Amazon affiliate link at the top. If you click that affiliate link, it's going to open up Amazon just like normal. The trick is to add that to your favorites, your bookmarks, or whatever you want to call it, and call the link Amazon. So every time you click that Amazon link, it's actually going to pull up my code already in your link. So you don't have to remember to enter it ever. It's just click Amazon on your favorites. It pops up automatically. What it does is it takes a couple % of the regular price. It doesn't add anything. Amazon takes less profit, and they give me a little bit for helping drive business to them. So it's just a quick way, easy way to help support Guitar Guts, help me get more gear so I can make better shows, help me get more guitars to help to review you guys. And I don't have enough guitars. I don't know if you guys know. I have 41. I got one more on its way. I've had 40 for a while now. I got one more on its way, and I have not announced it yet. It's a surprise. We talk about the company. I got a new sponsor coming soon. Go figure. Fucking rad guitars. I just said a bad word. They're fucking badass. They're on Instagram too, but I'm going to wait for the announcement until I get the guitar. But we talk about them in this episode. So every company you hear us talk about, you're going to be like, oh, is it that? Is it that? Who knows? You never know. But soon, by the end of the month, I think I should have it by the end of August, they're saying. Might take longer because it's a fully custom guitar, so I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a little longer. But man, am I hoping that it comes by the end of August. Absolutely. Longest intro I've ever done. Let's get into the episode, guys. Great episode. Peyton Fulbright, a.k.a. at 60secondmetal. Well, everybody, welcome to the show. Peyton, a.k.a. 60secondmetal.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, dude?
Good. How are you doing?
Can't complain. It's a super hot Thursday here, but, it's like 100 degrees. But, I'm in the AC, so it's not that bad.
It's a little bit cooler up here for me. We're having a thunderstorm right now, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Where you live in Washington?
Montana.
Oh, geez. I thought, okay, dang, I was way off.
Yeah, it gets pretty warm. We usually hit 100 quite a few times a summer, but it's also really cold in the winters. It's easily -20, -30 throughout most of the winter.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. People complain about it being hot, but, it's like, okay, you're in Phoenix. You have, a 50-degree temperature change. We have, 130-degree temperature change to expect, so.
That's got to be, one of the biggest temperature changes in, anywhere in the U.S. Where else gets that hot and that cold?
I don't know. I know I can't remember if it's the coldest point in the continental U.S. or if it's the coldest spot in this. Yeah, it has to be the coldest spot in the continental U.S. is in Montana, in the mountains. It's through this path you drive through. Yeah, it gets cold.
Dang, dude. So what's your town like? Is it like a city, or is it kind of woodsy?
I mean, as far as Montana goes, it's a city. The city I'm from is 50,000 people. There's a really big Air Force base right outside of town that makes it about 70,000 people if you count that. And then the town I go to school in is about 70,000, I think. There's only one city in Montana that has over 100,000 people in it. The whole state, we just broke 1 million people in the last census. But so I think depending where you're from in the country, you'd probably say it's pretty woodsy. But as far as Montana goes, it's a big city.
Dang, that's crazy. Those are pretty small towns. I live in, I don't know if you've heard of Simi Valley, but that's where I live. And I think we're just over 100, maybe 110,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And this city is so small, you can't go anywhere without seeing people and even still, I graduated high school 12 years ago or something, and everywhere I go, half the people left because people say Simi is so boring. It's a small town, sort of. So everyone moves out to LA, or they move to San Diego or wherever else. And whoever's left here, you still run into people all the time. It's so crazy.
That is. It's interesting just how relative size is, because that's 100,000 people in Billings, Montana is just huge. It's crazy. It's a big city, but then in most other states that's nothing.
That's funny. So what's your guitar schedule like? Do you play every day?
Yeah, usually. Almost every day. Okay, so right now during summer I'm pretty open, so I'll put a lot of hours in. Like yesterday, I spent 6 hours working on the collab we're doing for And Justice for August because I just couldn't get it for whatever reason. I'll usually spend at least 2 to 3 hours a day unless something unforeseen or I have a lot of work that day or something.
Uh-huh. With those crazy winters and everything, people probably want to stay inside. You get pretty good at guitar, right?
Yeah, exactly. I used to record my videos, audio and video at the same time, but then I mean I'm not crazy far north in Canada or anything, but I am close to the Canadian border. So in the winter it'll get dark at 4 o'clock. So I to have time to actually be able to film videos and still be productive. That's why I started to do the audio separate from the videos. Then I can just
Ah,
power through and film five
that's it.
videos at once instead of wasting a bunch of time trying to record and get it done before dark.
That's interesting. So I know you don't do a whole lot of solos, right? You're mostly
Yeah,
rhythm.
yeah, mostly rhythm stuff.
Okay, because that would be so hard with a solo. Because like a bend or something could be just like a little off, and people will notice, and people will complain. Like, do people ever notice and say like, wait, that doesn't match exactly?
I've never had somebody do it, but there's definitely times it could happen because, like on my Telecaster, it has the uh, ticks for the volume knobs you can see. I've had videos where I've uploaded and the volume completely off, but nobody's noticed because I
Oh,
recorded
that's
it
funny.
earlier. I've had other times where I accidentally played something on the wrong fret or whatever, but nobody noticed just because
Oh,
I mean, sometimes I get a little bit sloppy with it because it's just video, the audio is already done. So,
that's funny, dude. I've never really heard of anybody doing it that way. So, to you, you don't care that they're separately recorded?
no, I don't mind that they're separately recorded. Um, in a lot of ways, it's easier for me. So, my setup is completely digital. I plug directly into an audio interface, and then I record into Reaper, and I use Bias FX for my guitar tones. So, I just have headphones on, and it's virtually silent. So, at school, when I'm living in the dorms, I don't have to worry about playing at any time of day. So then I can record those. And then later when I film, I'll just get a little speaker and I'll play it back, usually so I can hear the guitar track better. I boost the volume of the guitar track way more than I would in the final mix, so I can hear it really well. And then I'll play along to it, do one or two takes if I need to.
What kind of camera are you using?
I just use my iPhone. I have the 8 Plus now, but I had the 7 before.
Yeah, I have an 8 Plus also, and it's surprisingly good. It's really good. If you have good good framing and everything, the colors are good. Lighting, if your lighting's good, it's a nice camera.
Yeah, it is. The only thing I've noticed though is that the mic doesn't seem to be as good, at least on my particular one. For some reason, when I do my lesson videos, so when I had the iPhone 7, I would just use the phone audio. And then when I went to do my first one with the 8 Plus, the volume would just keep jumping up and down, and I didn't really know how to control that. I figured I could put some time into doing it, but it'd be easier, so I just spent, I think, $18 and bought a little lapel mic, and now I use that for my lesson audio when I talk.
Which one did you buy? Which microphone?
Oh, I can't remember the brand off the top of my head. I know I looked up a YouTube video on affordable mics, like for under $50, and that one was the guy's highest recommendation. It was also the cheapest. It was like 18 or 22 or something. So I just used that.
It's not the
It's just a
Boya
little,
one, is it?
say that again?
Is it the Boya one?
That sounds right, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think I have Boya M1 or something. I have a couple of those things, and when I first bought it, it's a nice mic, but it was like blowing out my audio. Like it sounded distorted
Okay.
and crazy. And then I looked at some review, and someone said that you have to like run it into GarageBand and turn the gain down because the iPhone naturally has like the gain all the way up or something like that.
Oh,
So then I
interesting.
did that, and I started recording with GarageBand on my iPad, and it sounds really good. That thing sounds nice. It's just I'm too lazy most of the time to get the cable out and plug it in, and then I'm stuck,
Yeah.
plugged into something. I like to just like put my camera out and start recording.
So because I have to plug into Reaper and record through DAW anyways, I just plug it directly into my audio interface. I have two inputs. I have my guitar recording and the mic recording at the same time, so I don't have to deal with that. I mean, out of necessity, I can't be lazy about it. Otherwise, like my guitar tone, you couldn't hear it.
Did you say you spent 6 hours on our collab?
Yeah, long time.
Dude,
It's
these songs are tough.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't have been 6 hours tough, but it was. It's just that harmony part. Like you said, I don't do a lot of solo work. It's definitely my weakest area, so I had a hard time with that. So, I mean, each time I record a take, it saves it, even if I delete it out of Reaper. And I looked through after I finished recording, and it was 201 takes.
Holy crap!
So, I don't know. I mean, it's good to have that dedication, I guess, but it's also a little embarrassing that it took that long to do something so simple. But
It's not that simple, though. For people who don't know the part we're talking about, it's in Blackened, the harmonies leading up to the solo. And there's like a duet, and we're going to be doing that as part of our collab. And that thing took me a long time to learn. I started working on these songs like 6 weeks ago, or like 2 months ago even, because for Master of Puppets month when I did that, it was insane. I had to cram and like learn all these songs. Like I tried to do it in like a month, and this time I was like, I got to start practicing these songs way out, so when I go to record them, I'll actually know them, because most of the time I learn the songs when I go to record them.
Yeah.
So I've been getting familiar for a few months with these songs, and still, like, I have the Beholder. I just did that one last night, and there's a spot where there's like these two harmonies back and forth that it's the most like unconventional part ever. Like you would never naturally just play notes like that. I think they did it just to be weird.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of weird stuff on the Justice album like that I remember reading in interviews that they didn't even realize at the time that they were switching into these weird time signatures and stuff. They were just doing it and keeping it tight. They didn't realize how technical some of the things they were doing were.
I saw something when they were recording, or when they were practicing for S&M, and they were practicing with the symphony.
Yeah.
They told the conductor, James is like, I don't really know theory. I don't really know what all these notes are. He's like, so I was showing him, and I was like, all right, you do it here, then you move up to here. And the guy's like, okay, that's an A. All right, we got D here. Like, the guy had to like transcribe it off James just pointing at which fret it's on.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much guitarists in a nutshell, I think, for the most part, especially rhythm guitarists.
Yeah, well, I learned all my chords like that from the Metallica books, like the tab books. It'll say right above it E5, D5, all the fives. I'm like, okay, those are power chords. Okay, we got power. Now I know that. E is that. Okay, like, I think that's how I pretty much learned all of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I stop for a second and think about it, I can definitely tell you which note or the root note for those power chords. But I don't have the automatic association with it. I just look at it as like, oh, A string, third fret power chord, like that, instead of, what is that? The
C5. C? Yep.
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing guitar?
About 10 years. I got my first guitar when I was in 5th grade, and then later that summer, so June 2008, I started taking lessons, and it was just a Fender DG7 acoustic guitar that I actually recently just sold, and it was later that following October, so October 2008. Yeah, October 2008, I got my first electric guitar, which was a S101 like Gibson SG copy. I don't know if you've heard of them. They don't have a website or anything, but they're just a cheap overseas brand that makes guitars. Surprisingly, actually not a terrible guitar either in terms of build quality. The pickups suck, obviously, because it's like a $99 guitar, but the feel isn't bad at all. The neck's actually pretty good. Like the frets don't sprout out at all.
Do you ever pick it up and jam on it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll pick it up. A few months ago, I actually recorded a video with it. I did AC/DC's TNT on it, just because that was like wasn't the first riff I learned, but it was the first riff and song I really got into. As with most people, the first riff you learn is "Smoke on the Water." But like the first riff, I went out and said, "Okay, I want to learn how to play this," and learned it with TNT.
And it fits. It's an SG, so
Exactly.
perfect.
Because at that time I was obsessed with AC/DC. Um, I mean, at that time I was more obsessed with Angus than Malcolm, just because I didn't even really understand the difference between a rhythm and lead guitarist yet, because
Uh-huh.
I was, so new to it. So I'm like, oh, Angus, he's so cool. I want to be Angus. I got the red SG like him, and just learned how to play everything by AC/DC. And then a little later is when I got into Metallica and things started to change.
So is AC/DC one of the things that made you want to start playing electric, or did you already want to play electric before you even got the acoustic?
Yeah, I wanted to play electric from the beginning. But like a lot of people, it's like my parents, they didn't know. And a lot of, people do have split opinions on this, but a lot of people will say, get your kid an acoustic. If they stick with it, then they can go to electric. Other people say you should get them what they want to actually play.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
That's what I think too. Um, so I had that acoustic for a while and stuff until I showed I was dedicated, and then I was able to get an electric. But AC/DC, originally when I first started getting into guitar music was because my dad, when I was probably 9 or 10, uh, let me look through his CDs, and they had AC/DC Live, Def Leppard Greatest Hits, Poison Greatest Hits, one other one, maybe REO Speedwagon, and I like, oh, this is cool. I like this a lot, and I liked all of them, but especially AC/DC, and that just got the ball rolling for me.
Dude, that's so cool. My parents let me look through their tapes when I was a kid too, and I remember like a couple of those same ones. I remember Skid Row and Aerosmith was in there, like Black Crows.
That's it. That was the other one. It wasn't Speedwagon. It was Aerosmith, the big one's greatest hits album.
Mm, dude, that's so awesome. So you started
Yeah,
looking through that. Did you take their tapes and start listening to them, or were
yeah,
they
yeah.
CDs or tapes?
CDs.
Damn, you're a young kid.
Yeah, I'm a kid, so I didn't even take the CDs. I burned them onto the computer, put them on my MP3 player.
Dude, that's awesome. Started listening to more rock.
Yeah,
Got
mostly
yourself
rock at that
acoustic
time.
guitar.
What was
Huh?
that?
Oh, what'd you say?
I was gonna say it was mostly rock music at that time, and then a couple years. I mean, it wasn't. I guess it was that same birthday I got my um, first electric guitar. So October 2008, I got my first iPod, and that's when metal started to really take over because you can get on iTunes and you can sample all these things and figure things out. And that was shortly after Metallica released Death Magnetic. So they were everywhere. They were on the cover of all the guitar magazines I was getting at that time. So I'm reading all about them. Then I check it out, and then I got really into the Death Magnetic album, and that's what what started the second big phase of my music life.
Have you ever seen Metallica live?
Yeah, I saw them in 2009 on the World Magnetic Tour in Las Vegas, and then last summer I saw them in Denver, and then this December I'm gonna go see them again in Spokane.
Oh, nice, dude. So, what day is the December show?
Uh, it's a Sunday. I want to say it's like December 3rd or something, maybe.
Okay, I'm seeing them like the next night. I'm going to Portland, and I'm seeing them on December 5th.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't,
you're definitely right. Spokane one is either the 7th or the 3rd. What day of the week are you seeing them? Do you know?
Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, it's somewhere in there, but nice.
So, how different was the show in '09 versus the one that you saw last year?
Last year was a lot better. Um, I remember thinking, because it wasn't my first big concert, but it was my second. My first big one was Avenged Sevenfold earlier in 2009, right before the Rev died. And then, so that December, I see Metallica, and I remember they come out on stage. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but it would be black, obviously, and then they'd come out and they'd do "That Was Just Your Life," and there would just be the lasers shooting off everywhere, and you can't really see anything super clearly until the end of the song. But I didn't really know what to expect yet, and it was before the internet where you get to watch all these videos of every second of the shows, and videos you could find were terrible quality. so I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I was like, man, this is cool, but I can't see anything. Like, is it going to be like this the whole time? And then they break into the end of the line after that. And I was like, okay, this is nice. You can actually see now. And now I can appreciate how cool that was. But at the time, I just didn't know, like, this is going to be 2.5 hours of, is that James? Where is he? Who is that?
Yeah, it could be almost be anybody.
Yeah. It's but as to the quality of the show, they were good then, but you could definitely tell that James was sick or something at that time. And also, now his voice has just gotten better than it was 10 years ago anyways. Although I would say the set list was probably better in 2009 when I saw them than on the stadium tour.
What was the highlights of the 2009?
Well, first, all the Death Magnetic songs, because I really like those, but that's to be expected. But I got Fight Fire with Fire, Whiplash, Die Die My Darling. Oh, what else good was there? I can't even think now. But I don't know. I just like the set list better in 2009 than the more recent one.
Did they do any songs from Death Magnetic on the recent tour?
Not in the North American Stadium tour, but in the stuff in South America and Europe, they did. They did Day That Never Comes with like a cool, different intro than they have on the album. That you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it. I know they did. That might actually be the only song they did from Death Magnetic, but I know they played it at least twice on the tour.
I saw them at the Rose Bowl in July, and then I went down to San Diego and saw them in August, like a week apart. And they actually played 2 different sets. They played like 75% of the set the same, and then like maybe like 6 songs they changed out.
Yeah.
And one of them was in the first time I saw them there, up in LA, they played Battery, and they switched it out for Fight Fire with Fire when I went to San Diego.
Yeah.
And dude, that live, when they started playing the intro, because it's a recording, which is a bummer. I would love to hear them do the intro live. Same with Battery.
Yeah.
But I looked up at the sky, because I was already drunk by then too. It was like late in the set. But I looked up in the sky, almost lost my mind. I didn't even know what to do. It was so crazy hearing that. It was the best.
Well, same for me, like, when their intro tape comes on, the Ecstasy of Gold, like, I get chills. I start to tear up a little bit. It's like, it's just so beautiful and lose my mind. Actually, this last time I saw them, though, in Denver, there was a huge delay because of a thunderstorm. And they tried to evacuate the stadium and everything, but a lot of people didn't want to leave, so they didn't, including me. They ended up getting closer after like an hour-long delay. And I had to cut a couple songs from the set list to meet curfew, but it was worth it to get closer.
How close were you?
I mean, still like 30, 35 feet from the stage, so not very close at all. I mean, relatively speaking, that is, but a lot of people in between. Something I was kind of happy about, though, was one of the songs they cut was Nothing Else Matters. Because I hate, not the song, but I hate that they would play Seek and Destroy, leave, come back, ramp it up with Fight Fire with Fire, Battery, one of the fast songs. Then they would do Nothing Else Matters and Enter Sandman and leave. I just think that's a terrible idea to slow it down like that in the encore. So...
Yeah, I like the idea, because they do a lot of shortened versions and like medleys live. I like the idea of throwing it in like a medley, like maybe with the Unforgiven and some other like Black Album stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's
just not the right place in the set list for it.
But technically, I guess when is, because once you start getting the energy going, how do you slow it down for something like that song?
Well, I mean, they do it with the Unforgiven. They've slowed it down. I'm trying to think what else. That's the only, I guess, really slow one they have. It doesn't build up at some point, but I just think at the very end like that is not the time to slow it down.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you can do that slower song in the middle of the set and then have a few minutes and James can talk to the crowd and get everybody riled up again. But that final 2 or 3 songs should just be bam, 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 in my opinion.
What do you think of Saint Anger?
I like it. I like it better than Load or Reload, to be honest. It's not the best album, but like there's so much emotion there, and like it was obviously well after the fact the album had come out. It had been out for 5 years or so when I discovered the album, but I discovered it right alongside the Some Kind of Monster documentary. So I, in hearing it for the first time and watching what they're going through and stuff, and then I felt like a very strong connection with James and stuff because addiction and alcoholism is something that's like a real prevalent problem in my family, and I see those traits in myself. So seeing him like at that time just really resonated with me. So then because of that, all those associations tie into that album.
That documentary is so good.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people shit on it because they're like, you go from old school James that's so badass, then you see him cry and you hear Lars just being an idiot and stuff, but they're human. They change. People that don't want them to change, like, it's just not realistic.
Yeah, they go all different directions in that documentary. It's so funny too. At one point they turn against the therapist, and then the therapist is like, "No, you guys need me," and they're all like, "No, I don't think we do." And he's like, you could tell he just wants to be on their payroll so bad.
Yeah. Well, he was getting huge money from him too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for sure. Of course he was.
Yeah.
They had some weird restrictions, like Lars could only play during certain hours, I remember, and James could only play during certain hours. I think there was like a 3-hour window or something where like that's the only time they could play each day.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It's pretty crazy they made it out of that period. A lot of bands wouldn't, and they barely did.
And now they're stronger than ever, and like you said, live, they're killing it right now. And
live, they're the best they've sounded since like 1993.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At the very end of the Black Album, they got a little bit worn out and sounded a little bit rough, and then the rest of the 90s and stuff was whatever. So I think like 1993 or so, it's about the last time they sounded this good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Do you have a favorite member of the band?
James, definitely.
I'm a James guy too.
What's that?
I'm a James guy too. Even though I like playing solos and I love lead, I'm still like, James Hetfield's a man.
I mean, he just has a cool personality, and then like I think it's pretty common to gravitate towards the front man of a band. So it makes sense that so many people are. And then, like I was saying before, like I just feel like that personal connection with him. So, and that sounds weird to say, but like seeing him in that documentary at a time in my life where I kind of needed something like that.
How come you haven't gotten an Explorer yet?
I want to. I've honestly never even been able to play one, though. Part of the issue with being in Montana is that there aren't a lot of guitar shops, and when you do go to one, they cater more to country and bluegrass music. So, I mean, like, there's no guitar centers in the state. The closest one is in Spokane, Washington, which is about 6 hours from where I am right now, but 3 from where I go to school. So, I mean, this December when I go to Metallica, I'm going to try and stop in, see if they have one to try out. But I definitely want one. Just, we'll see.
What color would you get?
I really like the white, but it depends what my budget is. I'd really like to get some sort of natural wood grain. Not quite like the Ken Lawrence Explorers, but I've shouted them out on my story a couple of times, but Steiner Krauss guitars from Calgary. They make really cool natural wood finish Explorers and Flying V's. If I could swing it, I'd probably want to go with one of those.
How much? Those things are beautiful. I've seen them. I follow them too, and
I
saw they built somebody a custom double neck one even once. And how much are those?
The only thing I've seen is used ones on Reverb, and they were just like basic bare bones, and they were going for about $1,400. So I take that as they start at about 1400, and then as you add things, it goes up.
I see you're rocking Mathis. Are you sponsored by Mathis?
Yep, yeah. Jason from Mathis hooked me up a while ago. Sent me a shirt and some pics and stuff, and he sponsored my last giveaway I did.
That's awesome. I like that guy, and maybe they can make you an Explorer.
Maybe. I might need to have a few more followers first.
So you're sponsored by EMG.
Yep.
And you're like me, and like we were talking to Matt on the last episode about there's an avenue to make this into a business, and if you're putting a lot of time and effort in, you should be compensated if you're entertaining a lot of people and people want to support you. How did you get hooked up with EMG?
Very similar to how Matt did. So I asked him what he did, and he said, I just found the guy's information, sent him an email. So I was like, okay, I'll do that too. So then I found actually the guy who used to be EMG's artist rep and emailed him. He's like, oh, I'm not actually him anymore. Here's the contact info of the guy who is. So then I messaged the new guy and said, hey, I got your contact information from Dave Fowler. I didn't say how or why. I just thought if I didn't, to make it sound like, oh, I know him, that's an in. So then I did that, and they requested an electronic press kit and had me answer some questions, and after a few weeks got back to me and accepted me.
Dude, what did you do when you got the acceptance? Did you like shit your pants?
Well, so I woke up from a nap, obviously.
You nap a lot.
Yeah, during the summer I nap almost every day. Woke up from a nap, and I look at my emails, and I see one from EMG. I was like, there we go. I was expecting to get one soon from them saying no thank you. That's what I've been getting from other companies. And it said, we'd like to welcome you to the family. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then he's like, is there any pickups or anything you'd like to order right now? And the day before I'd gotten that, I had actually just bought a new guitar. So I'm like, oh shit, I can't order any right now. I need to wait a little bit. But now I have. I just ordered a set of 5766s.
So how does it work? Do they give you like a dealer cut or something, or like a artist price or something?
Yeah, artist pricing. It's about 50% off.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, very nice. In my my one and only order so far, I got the 5766 set that comes with the wiring kit and the North American made toggle switch for $140, which is pretty good price.
Yeah, that's really nice. I've never used those pickups. What are they like?
I've never used them personally, but what I did was I downloaded some DI files that compared the headset, the 8185, also the 60, and then the 5766. And then I ran through Reaper and Bias FX so I could hear it with my setup and how it would sound. And when it came to the neck pickups, I like the 66 hands down the most out of any of them. It's still able to remain like clean for rhythm things, but also could get some cool distortion sounds when you put it through distortion for lead stuff. But then it's a little bit closer for the bridge pickups. This 57 the 57 is more similar to the headset bridge than the 81 in my opinion. It's like a little bit fuller sounding. It's just one of those things that's hard to describe because it's honestly not a huge difference. If you aren't looking for it, you're not going to say, oh, he's playing a 57 or an 81. You're just going to say, oh, he has EMGs.
Yeah, I've never even heard of anyone using the 57s.
I first saw it on Bobby Von Ripper, his Instagram page. He's the guitarist for Mechanism, and he has a couple really cool, crazy ESP Eclipses, and he uses those in all of them. And I was impressed with the sounds, and I checked them out, and I like how it has a more vintage look, like the headset does with the full pieces, but I like the sound a little better than the headset.
Oh, so it does have the pull pieces.
Yeah, it does have the full pieces. I mean, at a glance, it looks the exact same as the headset.
Is that what the headset's based off?
I don't know. I know in the interviews when they first released it, James said he tried out all these different models they had, and then made notes on what he likes and doesn't like, and kept getting this product back and forth. So I don't know if it's based on the 57, 66, but it sounds very similar in my opinion, especially the bridge pickup.
Okay. Do you have, so is it like an exclusive contract, or can you still play other people's pickups? How's that work?
Yeah, I can still play with other people's stuff. Yeah, it's not exclusive at all. I just I don't have much desire to use other pickups now because it's so much more affordable to buy EMGs than Seymour Duncans. But yeah, I can still do whatever I want.
And for metal, I mean, it's hands down EMG. I have, I don't know if you saw, I posted a picture, I think yesterday or the day before, of all my guitars with Seymour Duncans.
Yeah.
And it's like probably 10 of them or something. I was pretty surprised because I was switching my Les Paul back to EMGs. I actually had EMGs in it back in the day. Then I put Duncans in it. And now I'm going back to EMGs again. And I was like, I should take a family photo. And I started walking around, looking at all my guitars. And I was like, oh, yeah, that one has Seymour Duncans. Oh, yeah, that one too. Like, I was like, geez, I got a lot. I'm surprised.
How many guitars do you have?
I have 40. Yeah,
Wow.
not all of them are set up. There's like probably 8 or 10 of them that are like taken apart, or like project guitars and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And there's like 3 of them that are like crappy acoustics that they're not like total junk, but they're nothing special. Like I think one of them actually is a DG7, like you were talking about.
Yeah. It's just like not worth the effort of selling it, and like it's somewhat sentimental, so you might as well keep it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it away when I find someone if somebody comes by my house and they really want to play guitar and they need a guitar or need an acoustic and they already play guitar, I'll give them that one. I've got a Yamaha that's pretty similar level to it, so I'm just waiting for the right person to come along and just take it off my hands.
The right charity case.
Because people, like, everyone knows that I have a million guitars, so everybody who sells one comes to me right away, and then they offer me a good price, and I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, I have too many guitars. I don't need any more guitars. If you get desperate, here's my price, but I'm not trying to lowball you, but I gotta stop. Like I don't have space for all these things even.
Yeah. Do you keep them all in cases, or you have them all out?
All of them are out. Like I have a jam room downstairs, so there's like maybe 12 on the wall, and then like I have one of those like stands that it like stacks them sideways, so there's 5 on that thing, and a couple other stands, and then in my room here, there's like 10 of them on the walls, like everywhere. It's just everywhere you look, there's just guitars everywhere.
So your house is burning down. You have 2 hands. You can grab 2 guitars. Which 2 are you going to grab?
I've thought about this. Right next to my bed, I have a Japanese Edwards. Have you heard of Edwards?
Yeah.
I have an Edwards. It's a badass super Strat with 27 frets. I would definitely grab that one.
I remember seeing you post about that a while ago.
Yeah, that thing's ridiculous. I want to get another one. They make them in a couple colors. I was thinking about picking up a blue one. They're only like $1,500, so for what it is, it's a great deal.
Yeah.
But I don't really have an extra $1,500 just lying around, so.
Yeah.
But I would grab that one, and I wouldn't go 2 guitars. If the house is burning down, I'm gonna go bear hug and get like 10, and they'd be falling out of my arms and stuff. But hey, chipped and dented is better than burnt. So
yeah, definitely.
One of my friends, I have a dog. My friend was telling me I need to put like some type of backpack on the dog so that I can like load the dog up with guitars, and she could carry out 6 or 7 of them maybe.
Hopefully it's a big dog.
She's 75 pounds. She's pretty big.
Okay, yeah, that's big enough.
But yeah, I think the first one I go for is the Edwards, and then the Gibson Flying V is number 2, and then whatever else is near.
Yeah. Have trips back and forth you can make too.
Dude, I would be. I'd be that guy. The house is burning down. They're telling me not to go in. I'd be like, one more trip.
Yeah.
How many guitars do you have?
I currently have 6. I just sold a couple this summer because I didn't need them. I have that S101 SG copy that I mentioned, and I'll never sell that just because it's sentimental, and also, I'd never get my money's worth out of it. So eventually I'll upgrade the pickups. Then I have my black ESP LCD EC331, my Bloodburst 7-string EC407, then my Jim Root Telecaster, uh, a cheap Stag bass that I just use to track bass lines occasionally, and a Yamaha acoustic.
Do you have your any of your guitars handy?
No, I don't, unfortunately. I'm actually at my girlfriend's grandparents' house right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude. Well, thanks for taking time out of that and coming on the
Yeah, of
podcast.
course. I wanted to make it work, so I figured if I'm not able to be around the guitars, oh well, we can still talk.
I'm actually looking at your page right now. Show the camera a little bit, and I see your 7-string.
Yep.
Is that an Eclipse?
Yep, it is.
And that
It's
came with those EMGs?
Yep.
Dude, that sweet.
What is it? The 85.7 and 707.
That thing looks pretty heavy. You did a Crazy Train cover. I saw that.
Yep. 7-string version.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I see your Jim Root guitar. It's white. Is it a black pickguard?
No, it originally came with one, but then I replaced it with a rosewood pickguard.
Oh. Yeah, I like that. Is your black Eclipse, is that one satin?
Yeah, it is the black satin finish,
Okay.
but it has depending who you ask, either light or heavy relic job done on it.
You had somebody do it?
No, I did it personally,
Oh.
but in my opinion, it's a light relic, but some people would say it's heavy. I basically just enhanced the spots that were already starting to wear. So I used steel wool to, because there were some spots where like the finish was kind of starting to come away already, to like rub those out. I actually have some good pictures of it I can send you, and maybe you can put them on the screen or something when this goes up. But took some steel wool to it, the finest steel wool there was. I took the back plates off of it and took some heavy sandpaper to it, and then I went over that with steel wool. So it has all these scratches, but you can't really feel them. It still feels smooth. I did the same with the knobs on the front. I scratched at the top of them, and then on the sides, I kind of like rubbed away an area where it makes sense that you're using them all the time. Then like I did heavier, I took more material off on the volume knobs and bridge pickup than I did for the neck pickup, and even less for the tone, so it looks somewhat realistic.
Pretty cool. Is that your favorite guitar?
Yeah, I think so. It's not my nicest, but it's my favorite. It was my first real nice guitar I got. My dad bought it for me for high school graduation, so it's something that's like I've never sell. So I just figured I might as well do the relic job to it because I'm interested in it, and I don't have to worry about getting my money back.
What do you think is your nicest guitar?
Nicest one is definitely that new 7-string. It's a model, like they don't make that color model anymore, but that one was from 2012, and I bought it used for $400, but the new 407s retail for $800. So in terms of value and just actual, objective quality, it's my nicest one.
Do you play a lot of 7-string stuff?
I'm starting to. Before I got the 7-string, I mostly was only playing Trivium stuff on 7 strings, except adjusted to work on a 6-string tuned down to be standard. But now I'm starting to branch out and play more other bands, although mostly it's just for Trivium and writing.
So
and
you write a lot of music, right?
I'm starting to, mostly just riffs. And I do those riff battles, so they mostly go towards that. So in a way, you could say I write a lot of music, but it doesn't really get past the riff stage ever.
I've seen the riff battles. So for people who've never seen it, can you explain that?
Yeah, so basically I provide a drum beat and I send it to a person. Then we both write a riff without knowing what the other person wrote, and then put them in the same video and have people comment which riff they like better. And it's really interesting to see the different approach that people take, because most of the time it's totally different approaches, except for the very first one with me and M Pro Guitar. We wrote basically the same riff without knowing. So it wasn't the best first case example, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. I've had a lot of demand too. I probably had 30 people message me trying to get in on it after I posted the first one.
Dude, that's really cool. And so who makes the drum beats?
Uh, I mean, I don't make them, but I'm too cheap or poor, whichever one you want to say, to buy a solid program like Easy Drummer. So I found a folder online that has 800,000 MIDI files, but they aren't sorted very well. So like I just have to randomly go through them and find one that works. So it takes a lot of time to find a good drum beat because that's such a huge number. But once I do, then I'm like, all right, awesome, save this, and then I will look at my list, who's next, send it to that person, tell them, what BPM it is, convert it to an MP3 file for them, and then tell them just to send it back to me when you're done.
How many of them have you done now?
As of now, I think I've uploaded 5, but I have 2 more that I'm waiting on people to send back to me, and then I have a couple more. So, I mean, by the time this comes out, I'll definitely have more recorded. I don't know if they'll be uploaded yet.
Dude, that's a cool idea. I like that.
Thank you. It's most of them have been pretty popular. One of them, I learned not to make the thumbnail of the video just the 60-second metal riff battle logo, because then nobody watches it. After one day, I had like 300 views. But if you make the thumbnail somebody actually playing guitar, then you get a lot more. So I'll get a couple thousand.
There's weird algorithms that if you have words on your thumbnail, that you'll get less traction for some reason.
Interesting.
They put you less in the not in the Explorer, whatever it is tab. That's the same thing with Facebook. Both of them say that you shouldn't do that.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was because it looks like a picture, so then people don't click on it. That makes so much more sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I noticed that the exact same thing as you. It'll get a few hundred views where it should got 10 times more of that,
Yeah.
And it's always the ones that look kind of like ads almost, because there's words on it or something like that. Like you're saying, maybe I think it's also people don't click on it as much. So just got to put someone jamming.
That also makes sense, because one of my recent posts that did really poorly was me announcing I'm launching a Patreon page, and the logo or the picture I uploaded is just the Patreon logo with my logo next to it, and did terrible. So that's probably something to do with it.
There's something weird about Instagram, and everybody I talk to pretty much says the same thing, but there's something going on that randomly I'll put up a video, and I think my best one has 40,000 views on there. And then the next day or 2 days after that, I'll put up another one that'll get after 2 weeks, it'll have 1,000 views, or 900. And it's how does that make sense? Did that video really take off that much, or did they expose it to more people and they choose not to expose other ones to more people? Or, I mean, there's a million variables. Other people are posting stuff, so maybe other people's posts got boosted, but it's pretty weird. I don't understand how there's such a difference between 2 posts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it either, but I haven't really experienced that a whole lot. Almost all my videos just consistently get between 1,000 and 2,000 views. The highest I've ever gotten is the first video, the first What If on a 7-string video, where I did Harvester of Sorrow on a 7-string, and that's almost to 5,000 views. But almost everything I do just goes between 1,000 and 2,000.
I think you might have inspired me to do What If this Metallica song was played on an 8-string.
Yeah, definitely should do it.
That'd be funny. Because it's the way I have my 8-string tuned, I have it G, B, E as my top 3 strings.
Yeah.
So you could take leads that are normally from solos and play them super low on the top 3 strings instead. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You should definitely do that.
So your recording setup, do you even have an amp? Do you play through an amp ever?
No, I don't have one. Before I got into all the digital stuff, I had some, but I never had an amp I was happy with. I had a terrible Marshall solid state and a PV Viper and stuff. So then once I got into the digital, now by SFX, but before it was a Guitar Rig 5, I just wasn't happy with my sound. Then once I got into this, it totally changed it. And I was like, I have no reason to keep these amps around anymore. So I sold them off.
How easy is like Bias and Reaper to use for people who've never used any type of recording equipment before? Is it pretty intuitive?
I think so. I mean, I'm not a computer whiz or anything. I'm okay, but I don't have any training or anything. I was able to get it set up. It's really easy to get just Bias FX set up. If you want to put it in as a plug-in in Reaper, it's a little bit more complicated, but there's tons of videos walking you through it. So it's something anybody can do, especially if you already have a computer. I'd recommend it, because a lot of times people will ask me, what's the best amp I can get for this much money? And unless it's a huge budget, I always say, if you have a computer, you should just buy an audio interface for $30 and then get the standard version of Bias FX for $60. Boom. You're set up and you're going to sound better than you would with a $90 amp.
Damn, that's cheap. I thought it was more than that.
Well, I mean, if you get a nicer interface, it's more. And if you buy the higher versions of Bias FX, it is. So I think the standard version is like $99, but it's almost always on sale for $69. And then there's the Pro version, which I use. That's normally $199, but goes on sale for as low as like $149 at times.
What's the difference between the lower one and the one professional?
Just more amp options. So there's more amps and effects built in that you can use.
It's worth it then.
It depends, because I think so, but at the same time, it's also really easy to get lost when you have that many tone options. So I used to try and always match the tone on my cover as close as I could to the album, but then something I started to do was just, I picked the tone and stuck with it. And unless it's the actual album tone is like clean or a really light crunch or something, I just use that tone. And I always get compliments on it and stuff, so I think it's better to just stick with that.
Cool, so you have your own tone then?
Yeah, I have my own. I always pan my guitar tracks left and right. So to the left, I'll have a Randall Satan, and to the right, I'll have a dual rectifier.
Nice. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it gets pretty good sound.
I've been thinking about setting up with Reaper recently and Bias and stuff, because Angel came over, Riff Master 95.
Yeah.
And he showed me his setup and brought his computer and let me jam through it. And for recording, it seems like it gets a really clean, nice sound.
It does.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'm the one who convinced Angel to go with it. He, when I started uploading videos, he messaged me and asked me, and I told him all about it and stuff. And then he was interested. Then later he bought it, and then I was the one who had to help him figure out how to install it and get it all set up.
Yeah, dude. I think he credited you on the podcast.
I'm not sure. This is bad, but I didn't listen to all of his episodes, so.
Oh, come on.
I'll have to go back.
Hey, as long as you clicked on it once and I got the view count, we're good.
Oh yeah, you got a view from me. I just didn't get through the whole thing.
So on your page, what's next? I see you do giveaways and stuff. Do you have any other things planned? Any type of new ideas coming out?
Couple things. So in the near future, I'm going to be launching a YouTube page, but Instagram will still be my main focus. But I want to have that kind of back avenue, because my success depends on Instagram right now. If Instagram goes away, then I don't have any followers or anything. So if I can diversify that a little bit, then my success isn't so dependent on one thing. So I'm going to do that. I recently launched a Patreon page, and if you go on there, you can sign up to get picks and stickers sent to you, access to a monthly playlist, like a video chat / lesson with me, and a quarterly giveaway. And the size of the giveaway just depends on how many people I have donating money.
With the what's the playlist? Is it like other people's music that you make a playlist of?
Yep, I each month curate a playlist of stuff I'm listening to, and so this July is my first month I've done this. So I just made kind of a general one, and starting next month on August 1st, I'm going to put out one that's all my favorite metal cover songs, and I'm going to write a little blog post to go with it. And when you sign up, just for the $1 donation, you get access to that. Then I send you a link to the private playlist on Spotify.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea, but it hasn't really done so well so far. Partially, I think, just because a lot of my followers are pretty young and they don't really have a lot of money to spare. So I've made 65 cents off Patreon so far. But
yeah, well, that's just the beginning, though, because you got to start somewhere. And come on, young guys, $1 a month. Come on.
yeah,
That's not
I'm
that
not
much.
complaining or anything. 65 cents is 65 cents. So it doesn't cost me anything to keep it running. So I'll keep going and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to be launching a Patreon. I actually have an account. I haven't really sat down and gotten everything figured out what I want to do with it yet, but that's one of the things, like you were saying, like a lesson, or like if someone wants to just have a conversation with me or whatever, to ask me questions. I don't know. That's one of the things I was going to put on there too. Seems like pretty cool little way to connect with people.
I think so. I expect in the future my most popular thing to be my $5 donations, because if you do that, you get a shout out on my story, you get access to that playlist, you get 5 entries into the quarterly giveaway, but then you also get some of my custom picks and stickers sent to you. And people all the time are asking me, how can I buy these? So that's a way you can buy it basically now.
Oh, cool. What about t-shirts? Do you sell t-shirts?
Not yet. I originally was planning on it for my 2,000 follower giveaway, so I just didn't really get to it. I wasn't really finding like a way to have the shirts made that I was happy with, so I decided just to wait on that for the time being.
Okay, so if you do start a YouTube page, is it going to be full-length songs or still 60-second clips?
Neither. So I don't think there's really a ton of market for pages that only do covers. I think people get kind of bored with that. So I definitely will do some covers, but YouTube will be more focused on original content, so maybe extended riff battles or more in-depth lessons than I'm doing on my channel now. Maybe some other ideas that I'm still kicking around.
Kind of like almost like you could even throw some vlogs on there.
Yeah, it's I'm open to anything. I just don't really care for the idea of only doing covers, because I think that's kind of boring for a lot of people and they aren't that interested.
Yeah, there's 2 types of YouTube pages too. There's like subscriber based and view based, and covers don't really get you a lot of subscribers. Because people will look up, they want to see someone play a song, but they're not going to subscribe to your channel. But then there's like people who have people who are actually fans of their content. Like each week they always tune in to watch that person's stuff. So like that one would be more subscriber based. So that's what you're more going for. Is to get, like,
that's what I'm more geared towards.
A real dedicated following, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully.
So to make it the whole thing a business and eventually be able to quit your job and everything, what are you going to do? Like, what's the big plan? Like, do you have a...
Well, I don't expect to ever be able to quit my job or anything and do this full time. It's just something for fun I do. If I could make some money off it, it would be great, but I have no plans to ever quit my job for it. I'd have to get insanely big for that. But moving forward, I definitely have some plans, but they're more branding based and marketing kinds of things and different types of content. And I don't know, that's kind of boring to get into on a podcast. But
that's interesting to me. I'm all about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm going to do, hopefully for my 3,000 follower giveaway, is I'm definitely going to have t-shirts like you brought up, because I want to do that in the past. But I'm also going to hire an artist to do like a cartoon caricature of me, because one of the things a lot of people notice on my videos is all the funny faces I make when I play. So get like one of those made into a cartoon and get stickers and pics with that on it. Yeah, I don't know. Mostly just keep grinding, plugging away, doing things like that to make myself recognizable. Hopefully get some more sponsors than hitting up those string companies, but nothing so far.
Seriously, string companies, hit me up. Like, I need a string sponsor. I have too many guitars, so like, keeping fresh strings on them all is impossible.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What kind do you care? Do you have a specific string company that you use?
I usually use Ernie Ball, um, but I mean, they were the first string company I hit up, and they never responded to me, so I'd be okay switching to somebody else. For me, it's not so much that I notice a difference usually in the actual strings. It's just I like their packaging, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go with them. Like, I have an Ernie Ball hat,
Oh,
so like
nice.
that, because I used to use this company called Gear Supply Co. I don't know if you've heard of them. They were a subscription based thing, and then they went under and kept taking people's money. I don't know if you heard about that, but I have a post on my page that still gets attention from it. I still get comments all the time.
Dude, yeah,
There's a
what
lot of
happened with
people.
that? Because I heard about it way after it happened, and then I probably saw it from your page, or I linked back to it somehow, and then saw all these
Yeah,
people commenting, and I think you might have been on their page, like telling people to stop ordering from them.
yeah, I did do that because their website stayed up for a while after they shut down, and they kept taking money. Um, I mean, some people were hit pretty bad by it because you have it set up as an automatic subscription. So they'd have a bunch of different packs of strings set up, and then it just kept getting ordered. Nothing happened. And I talked to, on that post, one of the guys who actually used to work for the company talked to me, and he basically said that the owner just stopped paying them. He owes his employees a ton of money in back pay that they're probably never going to see. And he just took the money and ran, basically.
So he's getting away with it?
Yeah, basically. Because,
Holy crap. Does anyone know his name?
yeah, I mean, if you look on that page, I think in all those comments, you can see about it. I think his name's on there. Yeah, I mean, it's a it's a bad situation. I luckily was only out like $25, so it's not that big of a deal for me. And it was also, ironically, one of those little Visa gift cards that you can use. So I used that and I threw it out, and then I found out. I'm like, oh shit, I can't even dispute it. I don't have any way to do anything, but whatever. It wasn't even real money, basically. It's like I never had it. But yeah, you got away with it. You got a bunch of money, a bunch of pissed off people. Their Instagram page is gone now. Their website's gone.
Oh, so they are at least they took it down. It's gone. But geez,
Yeah,
man, what a piece of
everything's
shit.
gone now. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of people, but especially the employees that worked for him. Um, like that one who was talking to me said that between everybody, it's something like $20,000 is owed in back pay, and they're probably never going to see it. And I asked him about suing them, but he said they like looked into it and it's not going to be able to happen. And
Man, that's a bummer because that service is a great idea.
yeah, it is a good idea. I know if you look in the comments on that um, uh, post I made, somebody asked about a similar service, and somebody commented a company that does something very similar that might be worth checking out, but I can't personally vouch to their quality.
Yeah, I feel like Ernie Ball needs to start doing it direct to the customers, and people will get quality strings. Because was that company buying other strings, or having someone make their strings, or were they making their own strings? What were they?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know whether to trust their strings or not. I mean, to be honest, when I buy other brands, like I buy Diadario sometimes, or someone will give me a pack, I'll try them. I hardly can tell any difference. I don't know, but
Exactly. Some people say they can, but like I can't tell between brands if it's the same gauge.
yeah, gauge
And
is the
like
thing I notice.
yeah, exactly. I was fine with the quality of the strings I was getting from Gear Supply Co. So it's not. I mean, I trusted it.
You spoke a little bit about getting on YouTube, and have you ever? Do you know Jared Dines and like Steve
Yeah,
Tannerberry, all these guys? Are you a fan of those guys? Do you like them?
yeah. I like them. I actually check out a lot of those guys, like Ola England, Brian Bruce. Um, in a lot of ways, it's actually more counterproductive for me because I'll be trying to warm up, and then I start watching a video, and then I'm sitting there staring at it and not playing. Um, yeah, I watch all of those guys. I think it's a good idea. It's not exactly what I would want to do with the YouTube channel, but it's more in that direction than just posting covers.
Yeah, because there's a few of them, Rob Scallon, like a few of them that are making a living off it. That I'm pretty sure they've quit their jobs at this point and
But
they're
yeah,
living
all
off
those
just
guys you just
music.
mentioned, all the guys you just mentioned have quit their jobs and are doing it full time.
Yeah, so if they can do it, why can't we?
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I don't think. I think you definitely need to make that jump to YouTube though. I don't think there's any Instagrammers who are able to make a living off of that. But
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so either.
I think Instagram is a little more fickle. Also, you don't know what's going to happen with it. Could go under or something, and then everything's lost for you.
Well, it's crazy too because it's been around for a while now, and every 10 years or something, the social media goes away. MySpace and then Facebook seems like that's dying now.
Yeah,
Instagram's the cool one. Snapchat seems like that's dying. Like it's pretty inevitable that Instagram will eventually get bought or sold or something.
yeah. Eventually, it's I don't know. I don't. There's no way really to predict what the next trend is going to be, but I definitely agree with you that the time left on Instagram is limited. I mean, I would say 10 years from now, nobody will use it anymore.
Was there a specific person that got you into wanting to jump on and be like an Instagram musician, or?
Not really. Just a bunch of different guys that I saw making videos. I was like, I could do that. That seems fun. I thought about it for a while, and then I was going to start, and then I had a whole problem with my computer that I had to get sorted out. So then I took a few months in between. Then I actually started uploading videos. November 28th, 2017.
Not even a year ago.
No, not even.
Wow,
Like 8 months.
that's a pretty fast rise that you've got so far.
Yeah, it's I mean, I would attribute all of that to building connections with people. Building friendships that you comment on their stuff, they comment on yours. They want to see you succeed. You want to see them succeed. So you share each other's stuff and your stories. You help each other out because, for the most part, like the Instagram guitar community is a pretty positive place. There's a few people that people don't tend to get along with, but also they just do their own thing now. It's no hard feelings, and I want to see success for almost everybody on here.
Would you say that's the biggest piece of advice for anybody starting out now? Is that, or do you have something else
Uh,
you'd say to them?
I think that's important, building those connections. But another one that's important is consider quality. So I'm not saying you have to have 4K resolution video and studio quality sound, but think, is this something I would want to watch if it wasn't me? So if you're sitting in a dark room, probably don't want to watch that. If the audio is just crackly and clipping, probably don't want to watch that. Um, I mean, if you're considering doing it, you already have a guitar and something to record with. Don't have to worry about that. You don't have to spend any more money than that. Just be well lit. Take some time to figure out how loud you need to set your amp so it'll play along to it, and just think about little things like that.
That's a big one. People sometimes have their amp too quiet and they're sitting too close to their phone, so you could hear their pick on the strings
Yeah,
instead of the amp. It's louder than the
yeah,
amp.
yeah. That's annoying. It's sometimes I'll get people and they ask me and they're like, "How can I have sound like you to be able to do a video?" And then they're like, I can't afford to do that." You don't have to. If you have a guitar and an amp and a phone or just something you can record with, just use that and just put some time into figuring out how to make it the best quality possible with what you have.
Yeah, experiment. Put your phone 8 feet away. Turn your amp up this loud. Write down if
Exactly.
it sounds good or bad, and then A/B test it. Play that video, and then go over, scroll over, play the other video when it was closer.
Hmm.
Experiment and try a bunch of different ways because that's huge. I get
Exactly.
people asking the same thing to me, and I tell them I don't really tell every one of them you got to try all these different things, but that's huge.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, you don't need to have a lot of really expensive gear. So, like that EC331 I got a few years ago, and that's what I use in most of my videos. I get so many compliments on that, but I bought that for $350. Granted, it was worth a little more than that, is when they're phasing that model out, so it was a sale, but still, it's not a super expensive guitar. And for a long time, up until about 7 years ago, my main guitar was that cheap S101 SD copy, a $99 guitar. You don't need something fancy to sound good. You just need to practice and enjoy it.
Damn, that's true, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to let the people know? Where can they check out your content?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at 60secondmetal. I don't have the YouTube to announce yet, so stay tuned. But I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/60secondmetal, or the link is in my bio. Throw me a few bucks. We can. Something I say on my Patreon is that I want to put all this money back into my profile. So tell me what you guys want to see. You guys want more riff battles? Then let's put some money together and buy Easy Drummer, and then I can do them more often and make them more interesting. Or do you like those, 7-string, what if 7-string videos? How about let's put some money together and I'll get a 5-string bass? Because right now what I do is I record on my 4-string bass, and then in Reaper I drop the pitch 5 semitones.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because it's just easier than buying new bass strings and tuning all the way down to B standard. So
that's nice. Good trick.
But yeah, check out my Patreon. I have a couple people I'd like to shout out. So Empro Guitar, Matt, he's one of the people that's really helped me out on Instagram. He's one who got me really thinking about it in a business sense. James, Jay the Dark Knight, he's an awesome guy, one of the nicest people on Instagram. Luchatar, I don't know if you know who he is yet. He just hit 500 followers. He's awesome. He wears this Mexican wrestling mask. He's an awesome player. He's really business focused like we are. You should definitely get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk to him.
Doom Hiatus, another awesome guy. He's somebody that proves that work ethic is more important than free time. He works a job for the government as a scientist. He's a PhD student. He still makes videos. You see people complaining, oh, I don't have time to make a video, but they don't work, or they work a few hours. You don't have to have that work ethic, but don't say you don't have time. Just say you don't want to, and that's okay, but because you don't want to. My other good friend, GuitarGuts, awesome young guitar player. Sabbath and Chains, would say his real name, but he's very private. He's like the Headless Horseman. He's an awesome player, though. He does these awesome acoustic videos. Taylor Riff, he's awesome. Also, shout out Jason from Mathis, who hooked me up. And I'd like to shout out my girlfriend, Kendra.
Ah, nice list, man.
Yeah. I made a little list, but I don't want to forget anybody.
Yeah, you can't be forgetting anybody. They'll let you know if you do.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Peyton, dude, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, Taz, thank you very much, man.
And I'd like to have you on again at some point. I was telling Matt that I want to do some 3-person episodes, so I'll hit you up and we'll set up a roundtable with somebody.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Right.
Dude, thanks, Peyton. Appreciate it and keep killing it, dude.
All right, you too.
All right.